Hello, everybody. Sorry I'm a few minutes late. Very, very productive day. We're going to get right into Module 2B. Complete that. I apologize for yesterday. A lot happened. I had to delay that. Was pretty wiped out, but I got a monumental amount of work done today. I'm excited, extremely excited. I'll be in Toronto advertising World Constitutional Day this weekend in Toronto to get everybody out to Barrie for August 1st. It's going to be monumental. The list of experts worldwide from the free countries of the world with absolute we the people constitutionalism. We're going to hear from Brazil, who is amending their constitution right now. We know of Barbados breaking free of the crown, ending it all. We're going to hear from Switzerland, of course the USA, actors, extremely talented, world-renowned experts for all of you. We're going to have that out in Barrie on the big screen. I get my moment to shine. Soon our ads for our speakers will be up on the website, and we'll provide the Zoom link for that. We're going to give it live in Barrie, plus on Zoom for every Canadian, every First Nation. It's going to be incredible. The first of its kind ever done in Canada. No political party would ever enter this in Canada because they would despise the idea of any Canadian second, third class citizen or First Nations, First Peoples, right across the board to ever participate in something like this because they don't want you to know. That's reality. No academics, no lawyers, no teams, because Canada is not constitutional, it's colonial. That's reality. A very limited autocratic constitution, which is why we're going through world binding laws, international law, as it is worldwide, and just how Canada sits on that as we go forward to build a resolution. All these modules are to teach all of you how to make a resolution that's going to be in step with the UNSC to absolutely finish Canada the way it is forever. Now, I left off, everybody, in the Declaration of Human Rights 1948, Article 16. I finished off with parental rights. Now we're going to get into Article 17 through all the way to 30, and that closes out the Declaration of Human Rights 1948. Look how many years ago that is already. More than 73 years ago. 73 years ago. The world changed. Canada said, no, not us. We're not going to do it. We're going to steal the crown, and we're going to perpetuate heinous crimes against the third and second class and absolute genocide against all First People. That's what the first class did. And of all articles to hit right now, which is in the news with NDP as they try to steal a lot of my intellectual property, we got lawyers, we got a Métis lawyer trying to go into property rights, minimizing Section 92 of the Canadian Constitution, which is the powers of the provincial government. Are you ready, everybody? Over all of your civil rights, absolutely autocratically, because there is no provincial constitutions. And it also gives them all the power over your property rights. Okay? Property rights. He said it wasn't a big deal. Wasn't a big deal. Let's read the biggest article of the Declaration of Human Rights 1948, property. And it states, you are to have property alone as yourself. You should be able to buy property or with others. And it finishes with this explicit piece. Not to be arbitrarily deprived of it. Canada has moved so many reserves arbitrarily. The Indian Act limited lands to First Nations. They call 80% of Canada, near 80% of Canada, is not to be afforded to any Canadian citizen or any First Peoples, none whatsoever. In fact, any settlements outside of Treaty Indian were done with arbitrarily the government taking land that was of the First Peoples and arbitrarily settling that land with not treaty Indians, with in fact other, not covered under the Indian Act. And remember, Canadians, the government made the treaties so that USA would move in. The American Indian, for all First Peoples across Canada, the American Indian has 500 times more land than all of you do per person per capita. That's a reality. 500 times more land. USA does not have any crown land whatsoever. USA is 100% available to the public, minus, of course, federal parks, provincial parks, which in Canada, all of that and all government land is only 3% of the country. 79% is for the first class to lease out to wealthy foreign interests to fill their back pockets and absolutely exploit all of you entirely, while the First Peoples entirely, which is Métis, Inuit, First Nations, Treaty, Unceded, all of you get 8% of Canada, while millions of Canadians have to go with only 11%. While our country is larger than the USA, only 11% of it is available to the average Canadian. It's why you're getting screwed so bad. Same with First Peoples. Not to be arbitrarily deprived of it. 1948. We're the only country like this besides Australia, New Zealand, right? It's the biggest bomb. And for anybody minimizing the Constitution, again, I just have to go back to this. A lawyer, a Métis lawyer out of BC, NDP, minimizing the impact of Section 92 that gives every Canadian and First Peoples their civil rights, which includes property, doesn't exist. There is none. No province has ever codified a constitution cementing any of that. So we are without civil rights in Canada entirely. You have to purchase them. You have to be wealthy enough to lobby the government to give them to you specifically. And of course, that's all foreign interests now. Nothing to do with the average Canadian or the First Peoples. And you know this, as I said, the government arbitrarily has moved reserves. They throw people out of their places whenever they want. They'll starve you out, which they did to the First Nations. They do that in many cities across Canada. It's all through the provincial governments, mandated by the Constitution by the federal government. Sneaky, eh? Total breach of number 17, the most important article possibly in the whole Declaration. Number 17, don't forget it. Not to be arbitrarily deprived of property. Yet Canada deprives us all of 79% of it. And they throw you off your property whenever they deem they need it for national interest. Number 18, Article 18, you're supposed to have freedom of thought, religion, public and private, to practice and use your thoughts and express them, or have your religious ceremonies or services, public or private, and never to be deprived of it. Never, under no circumstances. COVID-19, jailed pastors. Through the Indian Act, no First Nations were allowed to do their ceremonies. This was also done under the Nordic Council or Arctic Council against the Inuit. You will be assimilated into the system whether you like it or not. Abolished in 1948, Canada continued with that all the way up into our modern times here, many decades later. Saying forget it, not for us. We've signed this entire document, the first class, but we've never ever practiced a single article. In all 30, Canada has violated all 30 of them. 19, association and opinion. Well, we know First Nations were never allowed to freely associate with anything First Nation or First Peoples in any culture whatsoever through the Indian Act. Never were allowed. 20 Assembly, same thing. Even now with COVID-19, it's a highlight for a lot of religious organizations. You couldn't assemble, as well as First Nations throughout the Indian Act had to go hide to do their spiritual ceremonies. They had to go hide deep in the bush. They couldn't do them publicly on the reserves because if an Indian agent or a government official caught them, it would have been punishment as listed in 115 of the Indian Act. 21. We're all supposed to be able to take part equally, all of us, in the function and activity of our government. We all know that's not true. Clearly in the Constitution, they outline since the World War II and all the way to today, a first-class citizen. They even have customary law backing that up. They have all kinds of rules, a minimum set wealth, which limits all third class and absolutely all First Nations persons from participating in equal government. Not that the Indian Act would ever allow any first person to ever practice equally in government or have equal access without giving up your absolute culture, your status, all of it. Give up your treaties. That's what they tell them. 22. Oh yeah. Public services. Everyone's supposed to have equal access to the same services. That's not true. Not true at all. They even have today, right now, today, I can go show you in the province of Ontario, 200 First Nation social services, family services. That's what they call it. It's not equal to the same system we have. It's a different system entirely, administered by the provincial government, so that the federal government isn't highlighted on the world stage. They put it on the province, and since there's no codified constitutions, who's ever going to know about it? They're just filthy savages, right? It's 2021. This is what's the Constitution of Canada. This is normal. This is number one, right? No, it's not. It's disgusting. It's wrong. It's been in violation of the international laws for 73 years. There is no sign-off. There is no nothing. The problem here is, everybody, all lawyers are sworn to the crown. They can't go to the international stage even if they wanted to, or they lose their law degree. They get pulled. And then guess what? You don't have a lawyer going to any kind of court for you anymore. Good thing there's an ICC. Good thing somebody did the work to figure that out. This is another major 22. Equal suffrage. Yeah, enfranchisement. Women enfranchisement. 1948, they said no more women having unequal access to anything that a man gets. But yet, for marriage and marriage alone and women's suffrage for First Nations women, it wouldn't be until 1960 until Russia, who didn't sign this because they put up colonialism, and we're going to get into that after. I don't want to tip it off. But remember, equal suffrage, complete breach by Canada for decades after. It's genocidal, cultural extinction, and absolute sexism by none other than the first-class Canadian system that continues right to this day. It's not equal at all, not for First Nations women. Here's the other one, 22, we can go into this, 22 basically to 24, and there's a whole bunch of numbers. The biggest thing about these rights, everybody, is they are overlapped in civil rights, which Canada doesn't have any. This is why Canadians have never heard of this stuff. access freely to develop your personality, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Your standard of living, your employability, your access to educational institutions, to be able to practice your culture and have that, to teach that, to retain that, to pass that on, to earn a living at it. That was all stripped of First Nations. Canadians don't know any better, and just so First Peoples and Canadians understand, Canadians wouldn't understand any of the terms I just listed. Much of the world does, but not a single Canadian, because we have no civil rights. It's why Canadians don't even understand property. They think they do. They think they understand property. 11% of your country is made available to you, and you think you understand property and civil rights? I don't think so. And that's not an issue for your average Canadian. They just go along. It's normal to pay $1 million for a busted down shack. That's normal. And to spend your whole life paying back the government and the chartered banks for it. And heaven forbid you lose your job, which is listed in your civil rights, to be protected from that, so that they don't arbitrarily steal your property back from you. Do you know how many times in Canada property is arbitrarily stolen that way? All these things were highlighted and listed in 1948, and Canada said, yeah, not for our loser citizens, not for our class structure. Those rights only belong to the first class, who's allowed to exploit the second and third. Just like COVID, how many businesses went bankrupt? How many people lost everything? How many people lost their homes? Arbitrarily deprived of your property. They had no plan for that. They had a plan for the first class. They had it. The third class will pay. And they can't pay right now, so no worries. We're just going to indebt their children's children to make sure you all not only are secured, but even get more than that. 25 is important. Another, what they call an enshrined right, but it's a civil right, is your standard of living. First Nations, did you have the ability to have the equal standard of living on a reserve than that of a regular Canadian citizen in at least the third class? No, you didn't. No, you didn't. And third class, did you even have a chance throughout since 1948? Were you ever able to just be born into the ability to grow yourself easily into a standard of living? Or has it always been hard and only getting harder? The answer is, we all know for the third class for sure, only harder and harder. Half the second class is learning too. But for a majority of the third class, everything is much harder than the generation before and the generation before that. That's listed there. The government is not to have that slide. But again, that's part of your civil rights, a part of your enshrined rights, as it's called there, but they're your civil rights. Most of the rights and freedoms Canadians are supposed to have and First Peoples are found in civil rights. But since your government doesn't enshrine any or list any or write any constitution to give you any, you'll never know any better, and no lawyer is ever going to take you to international court on these gross violations because they're sworn not to. They're part of the first class who absolutely puts down the second and third class, unless the second class has a heck of a lot of money and they can buy their way into first class. That's the only way. But for first people, third and second class, and majority domestic, you're done. You're done in. 26 is a sick one. A sick one by the Government of Canada, and that's equal access to all services through motherhood and the ability to raise a child fairly and squarely as everybody else. And we all know that's not true, especially for First Peoples. It's never been that way at all. Not even close. Complete genocide, the idea of failing in motherhood, taking away the children, wrecking the child, and genociding a peoples. That's reality. Oh, yeah, education. Here's another one. All Canadians, First Peoples. Education strengthening human rights. Did anyone go into school that they can raise their hand right now and say, I learned about all my human and civil rights, enshrined rights? I learned that in school. Ugh. Not a hand should go up. Because I never learned any of my civil rights because I don't have any. All I've ever heard is what I've heard. Well, civil rights, I think, well, that's black people in the USA over the bus seat, water fountains, segregation, goes on, right? USA went through that, adding them to civil rights. But when you ask a Canadian, have you been educated in that, in education? Parents, did you all get a choice of the education your kids were going to receive all the way through? Or is it basically pick one or the other that the government's presented you and that's it? And for First Nations, you will be forced to go to residential schools all the way up till today. There's even some running today. Did you have a choice? No, you didn't. Didn't have a choice. They took it from you. We have gone through all of this, and there is yet to be one article in the Declaration of Human Rights from 1948 binding on all nations of the world. We know 70% of the nations don't follow it. They're the rogue UN states. And today, just going through it as a normal person, we've seen that Canada has not followed a single article. Now, 27, cultural rights, the right to practice your culture, to teach your culture, to go out there and show everybody in the world your culture. Now, we see that all over the world, Multiculturalism Day, we have Multicultural Day and First Nations, but there is a whole bunch of history of Canada restricting that for everybody. Restricting that for everybody anytime they arbitrarily deemed it necessary. 28 goes through fully realizing these rights, all that we've gone through, which I didn't really go through your civil rights because it would just over everybody's head. They go, what? What are those? Fully realized rights. They have a date on that. Well, Canada, it's 2021. When are you going to make sure all the citizens of Canada and First Peoples fully realize all the rights? When are you going to do that? Man, 73 years later, I don't think I've ever seen or heard from a government official ever in my life talk about civil rights not being enshrined, and they should be in Canada, or going through the Declaration of 1948, going through every right we're all supposed to have, and how we're supposed to treat each other. 29, develop rights, recognition. Don't breach the rights or you go to UNSC. Don't breach anything binding in this by the UNSC. It says to go back to the Charter 1945. Queen Elizabeth told you all. She's the only one to give two addresses to you, the Commonwealth citizens, and the Indigenous First Peoples, First Nations, Métis, Inuit, unceded seed, all of you on, off, reserve, status, non-status, everything they've messed with you. And entirely it says, don't breach anything a UN state, this is 1948, binding in this. And that goes to the UNSC. I mean, we're supposed to go to the UNSC, but we have no lawyers in Canada legally allowed to us. So I could go through other resolutions. I know lots. I've studied the entirety of the UN. The Binding Five also have another resolution that says that should they not, there's a remedy. We're all allowed to go into full revolution mode. It's not only expected, it's demanded by the UNSCP 5. But I'm not doing that, and I'm not going that direction. I think that just using First Nations the key is the answer. And that's the end of the Declaration of Human Rights. Before I close out here on this, and more. We're fast forwarding in the next module 3, we're going into decolonization, UN Resolution 1514. You remember how everybody I told you only 4 out of 5 bound this in 1948? Well, guess who came on board in 1960? Russia. Not on the Declaration of Human Rights. They present their own guarantee on the Declaration of Human Rights called Decolonization 1514. I've already given it to you all. It's for study. It's in the title and the link. Study it because we're going through it absolutely tomorrow. If you think that what you've learned about Canada so far is a whopper, it's only going to get faster, harsher, and more high pace as we go through a series of resolutions, one after another, after this 1960. And just to introduce it, it's basically Russia steps up the first time for the First Peoples of Canada and says, no more, by the way, we will sign your Declaration of Human Rights, 1948. We enshrine it only if you all enshrine this. We sign it means as long as the world follows decolonization, which is self-determination, self-government, settling all outstanding claims, keeping a country together, meaning First Nations, third-class, second-class citizens all get together. That means Métis, Inuit, First Peoples entirely, all together, seated, unceded, all of it, unsettled claims. If we can all come together and say we still want to remain Canada to the UNSCP 5 at 1960 point, this is the introduction. If we say that, and we go to them with one voice and say, listen, we want 2 UNSC reps, First Peoples and Canadians, and we're going to keep this country together, but we want you to strip the first-class citizens of all their power in Canada, and we want to be free. We want absolute sovereignty. We want to settle all claims, land disputes. Together with the First Peoples and Canadians, we want to take 79% that's remaining in Canada that the first-class citizen holds on to, all for their greedy little fingers while foreign interests come in here, exploit the land, take the resources. None of us get paid. First Peoples live like crap. Canadians are working harder than ever with literally nothing, paying obscene amounts of money for land in the 11% that's only made available to them for astronomical prices when all the resources which would drop prices to pennies on the dollar are all around us in all those lands that we're not allowed to utilize in any meaningful way because all the rights belong to the first-class citizen who gives it away to foreign interests who fill their pockets with cash. Now, if we could all do that, starting tomorrow, which I'll go into it, we can start building our resolution together. That's this education I'm going through with all of you. And I take my time to see who sticks with it, who does. A lot of people drop off. I'm saying, this isn't worth it. But now we're getting into the bread and butter of where we're going. And those who stay the course, read these things entirely and get their mind wrapped around it as I go through them. Study them before I go through them, just like a classroom setting. When we're finished this, we're building the next resolution that's already guaranteed sponsored by one UNSCP 5. An unbelievable feat no Canadians ever achieved before. We're going to be the first. This is my gift to every Canadian and First Peoples. Entirely. Pure freedom. And if you have been stomaching all this so far, tomorrow we're going into the first major resolution, 1960s decolonization. Absolute, binding law, no votes no, world majority voted, general states. Canada lost this one and Canada signed it too. You think they followed any of it? 1960, 2021. Nope. It's just another rubber stamp signature. Yeah, we got this. We're the greatest country in the world. And they laugh. The first class citizen laughs. Like I said, you guys, there are only 16 countries remaining in the world exactly, or maybe even a little better than Canada. Canada's probably the worst of the 16. We're the worst. The Liberals and Conservatives stole that crown in 52. NDP knows all about it. They perpetuated the genocide. They're running for the crown too. The game afoot is which party can get the crown to be the next oppressor of all First Nations people, First Peoples. How many can we genocide and get away with it? And how many third class can we ruin, rape, pillage, and plunder? How many second class can we scoop by getting paid off by other higher end second class? That's what you have here in Canada. One of the worst systems. Way worse than any communism. Way worse than a lot of countries. Outlawed. Outlawed. And that's what we're doing tomorrow. It's going to start breaking out. The modules coming after that are almost literally year after year after year. And you watch, we go through the world changing. And Canada sits there like this. Butting cigarettes out on First Nations, third class, and second class citizens. That's the truth. Even worse than that. Much worse. For some, much worse. So now I'm going to take questions. I'm going to let you guys all ask questions, but make it about the presentation of today leading into decolonization. Thank you. So I'm going to scroll down. Oh, it's a busy night, isn't it? Something tells me I'm going to regret saying that, but that's life. A lot of people cannot get onto this live video saying it's blocked and taken down. Well, I don't think it's blocked or taken down because I got a lot of people on here. I think it's just the video will probably have to be post-played. Who knows? I'm not sure. What does this say? Elliot McDavid. The less they teach us, the more control over our lives they have. Yep. Absolutely, brother. A lot of people cannot get onto this live video saying it's blocked. That's sad. It shouldn't be taken down. A lot of people, same thing. I don't know why that keeps replaying. Our government literally shit on this declaration. Wow. Yeah, Jonathan LaBelle, you bet. And franchisement goes way beyond what you have mentioned. Yes, it does, Joe Avery. But it's going to go into major detail tomorrow. Just so you know, and I don't want to do spoilers here, Joe, the decolonization 1960 ended enfranchisement in Canada. It was the resolution that saved the women and men, First Peoples of Canada, from enfranchisement. Shut it down. It wasn't the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruled that way because Governor General was told to. They go, oh, we just breached international law. The Allies are coming. Quick, end enfranchisement. That is how they answered the UNSC. Showed them a little, and everybody's all happy, but not even close to enough. The UNSC has no idea what the, especially Russia and USA, who are on each plane of us. They're our border countries. We're neighbors to Russia in the Arctic, and we're neighbors to USA in the South. And they have no idea in full detail. Limited. They do. Like, they're waking up to it. I call it waking up the Allies, waking up the UNSC. They're all waking up pretty fast, actually. It's going really well. And actually, Linda Thomas Greenfield, Cyprus, we just watched Turkey and Cyprus. Don't want to get off track. They're waking up. They're waking up to decolonization and what's happened here with Canada, as we just watched with Cyprus and what Turkey did. Not looking good, guys. It's funny. And for you guys, there is a rogue UN regime out there. 70% of the General Assembly is rogue. They want NWO. And they are to destroy the Allies, even when they fight with each other, and they do. Robert says, Dave. Been in Frage, never to get back. Banned in Frage, 1958. Never to get back, eh? They did that to you? We'll have to private message on that, Joe Avery. Real people, not a facade. That's right, absolutely. Paulette says we got problems with the Facebook feed. Well, maybe we do. Says I got 57 people on. I don't know. It's weird. Spruce Grove, Stony Plain, all north of it, all old Indian land. Absolutely. They've moved the reserves out there, Joe, many times. I know all about Paul Band. I know all of it. It's no arbitrary removal of your land. Yeah, right. Look at that, right, Joe? You know. It's all over Canada. Elliot says the video stops for a minute, then starts again. Well, I don't know, guys. That's sad. I don't know what to say. It says I'm live. Everything's good here. I see people on. Hopefully it's all good. I don't know. Yeah, I believe it, Jonathan LaBelle. Paulette, that's wrong. Yep. Yeah, KJ. That's too bad that's happening. Says Facebook's messing this up. It might. Facebook might just have problems right now. I don't know, guys. My video stream looks good. I don't see any interruptions. It's actually running nice today. Tina, yep, you're right. Still today. Tanya, nope. Oh, what's that? I lost it. Oh. Where are you? I don't know. Yeah, I guess there is some problems here, eh? Absolutely, Graydon Gutzel says, absolutely, I'm getting more pissed the more I listen to Dave. I'm glad about that for all Canadians, First Peoples. I'm glad about that. I promise you there's a light at the end of the title. I'm lighting a fire under all of you to spread the word. If they're going to censor, if they are censoring, and that's what this is, it's not just shitty Ontario, or maybe it's the government. I can't see Facebook doing me because they would just go, this is false news or this is propaganda. They would put an attachment. I don't believe it's Facebook, guys. I can't see it. You know, and I got a tremendous amount of world experts, you guys. You're going to see the ads tomorrow, World Constitution Day. You're going to see my picture and our Treaty 4 speaker who's going to be with me. Guys, it's going to be exciting, like, with real world academics, American actors who are professionals in the role of constitutional founding fathers, those who signed on and did all that work. We're going to get to see all that presented to you. It's the first time in Canadian history. I could see the government messing with that feed for sure. It's a drop in the bucket here, people, of what has happened and is happening. We can fix this country with Rebel News option to get it out there. I don't think Rebel will, you guys. I don't think they will. Rebel doesn't want to end the crown. I know Ezra Levant very well. He was always a strong conservative loyalist. There's a lot of loyalists, everybody. And they believe somehow they're first class. Some of them are, actually. Media, definitely. I'd have to say they are. Or high-end second class. Preferred by the first class. They got the lifeboats too. I don't know, I guess there is some. Yeah, Ezra's a lawyer sworn to the crown too. That's the other major piece. Well said, Gary. Buster, I'm willing. I know a lot of people are willing for rebellion, but you guys, that's the story of the whole world, and most rebellions end in communism or a socialist dictatorship. I want to do this right. I want to bring in the greatest world experts. We got to win that small crown. We can be the beacon of hope for the rest of the world and destroy the NWO. I believe you can all do that. And just doing these videos, this education, regardless if something happens or I don't make it, or, you know, just not that anything's gonna, but let's just say everything fell apart. At least all of you are out there every day educating your children, educating people. You know, and I'm not Jesus Christ. I'm just saying he started with 12 disciples, the apostles, right? And look at it today. Billions of people reach today. I mean, that's 2,000 years. I hope we're not 2,000 years. But hey, drop a couple zeros, 20 years. Reach 40 million Canadians. I think that could happen, and possibly even reach 1 billion people worldwide. on this great thing Canada's going to do. That's why it's so important, just like Alberta independence, just to put the legal platform and publish it out to the world, out to Canada, and have it registered. When it's done, you guys, that's why it's so important. The 338, the 14, the Governor General, Lieutenant Governors, the territories transitioned in, which I can't really talk about right now, but you know what? We could get that platform out. It's there. It's there forever, regardless. It can't be destroyed. You know, you can say whatever about old Joe Biden or Donald Trump, whichever flavor or thing you don't like about it, but you can't destroy an idea. If you get a good idea and you get it there and you cement it in that stage, in that platform, that's there forever. Long after I'm dust to bones, it will get picked up. Look at the narrative of independence now and all these things coming forward. And tomorrow's monumentous with decolonization, you guys. You can't miss it. Module 3, unbelievable. Yes, Tina says freedom for all of us. Ian, I'm here, buddy. Great. We must fight for our lives. Jesus, this thing's scrolling on me. Sorry, Elliot. Chris, I just saw it on my feed. Thanks for tonight, Dave. Looking forward to tomorrow. No problem, Dave Bargo. I know I've missed some of you. Sorry, guys. My thing's shifting fast. Buster, I missed a comment there, too. What? Every time I touch it, it scrolls up, and then I lose you guys. Look after this earth. Love one another, no matter race or religion. Absolutely. Ian, good to see you. Oh, yeah. What about people like me who've been fighting for my rights my entire life and still continue today? Absolutely, Buster, and we need you. We always need you. Even when you get a 2-month ban from Facebook, I'm always here, bud. I'll always be here for you, with you. I'm standing with all of you. I never forget any of you. Buster's been around a long time, everybody. Yep, that's right, Elliot, to Buster. Let's see here. Maybe my feed is screwed up because I can't. Chris Lawrence just got here. Hello. I don't know, guys. I'm trying to scroll up, but it's playing funny on me, too. No problem. Tech here. Hi, Colleen. Yeah, they never built McDonald's overnight. Tina says, do we need leaders, chiefs, and council to do this? It would be nice, Tina, to be honest. It would be. Oh, there's Lars. He's got his regular profile back. I'm happy to see you, Lars. Now I gotta see. Yeah, let's rebuild, Tanya. Who Zynga says, let's rebuild brick by brick. It's enough now. You bet. Kathy. Oh, Kathy McMasters, I got your phone message. And yes, I'm going to reach out to you, and I'm going to talk to her in Yellowknife. There's more messages. I got Will's. It's too late. Sorry, Will. I got your message. And absolutely, Treaty 4 in Saskatchewan. I'm going to get back to you, too. So everybody, I haven't forgot. It's just I'm tremendously busy. You're going to get reached out to, but probably not this week, everybody. I'm sorry. But I'm swallowed. Like whole. It's 18, 19-hour days for this guy. Okay, Lars says no tech problems here. Great, Lars. Glad to hear it. Joe Avery says it's working. I can hear and see it. Let's Tate. Okay. I scrolled past a bunch of you. Benjamin Clear, Mexico. Great to hear, Ben. Hi, Ben. Join us for World Constitution Day, Ben. We got the Founding Fathers, all actors out of the USA. Great academics. You don't want to miss it, man. It's going to be awesome. So join. I'll publish the Zoom link for everybody. And I'll have my Facebook Live, too, of the event. Both are going to be good because we're going to have the experts on big screen. But it's going to be good. Yeah, Conrad says, I was loyal to the Conservatives till you came along, Dave. Thanks, Conrad. We all have to be willing to change. And then, you know, Liberal, Conservative, NDP, People's Party, all of it outside of that and in between, everybody. It's not about left and right. It's absolutely about up and down. And right now, as it's always been in Canada, it's always about those few politicians, the first class, ruling over almost everybody else. and then they have class systems in that. We got to end all that. It's got to be a merit system where everybody has equal opportunity. I'm not saying discount social programs and the rest of it. No, we're not going to destroy Canada any way, shape, or form like that. We're just going to end the corruption and give you, the people, the power, and let you build the new constitutions, because you're going to get the country and the regions you've never had. And you're going to learn all about fundamental, born with rights, civil rights, as they're called. A lot of them, folks. You got to learn it, because you've never ever been taught. Born into a system, a maniac preferred citizen system. And they're not just white anymore. There was a time when they were only white, but now these colonial autocrats come from all the former colonial countries who didn't make it in the new country of we the people, and they run to Canada where they're safe to fulfill their autocratic principles. It's sick. Jagmeet Singh's a prime example. You never hear him talk about ending it. He just wants to get the crown for himself. Yes, the live stream is coming through nice and clear, but as soon as you try to comment, live white box says unable to complete action, try later. Elliot, I hit mute. Oh. Ready to help rebuild brick by brick. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to let it go. Something's wrong with my... I got... Man, there's a lot of people I want to say hi to here, too. There's some faces. Lena, hi. Yeah, there's lots. 70 on. Well, you guys... Look home, Alberta. I don't know, my stream is playing. How long do we have to draw up a resolution? Then how long will it take for the UNSC P5 to take the reins also? More bodies found? Yeah, we need to get to 5,200 to have the blue helmets take over the investigation. UNSC P5 won't even care about resolutions or anything else I'm doing. When they hit 5,200 bodies, UNSC will step in. Not that ICC is going to be doing the investigation. Of course, they care about what we've all presented, what I've put forward with all of you. But everybody, what we're doing here is training, module after module day. You guys ask questions important to it if you didn't understand something, because tomorrow we start into 1960. From there, it's year, and we go through how the world changed and Canada didn't. By the time you guys are done this week, you will know what Canada is, what it's failed at, and then you're going to understand, because you've seen all the resolutions leading up to the one you're all going to help me build, that's going to be sponsored by at least China, if not all 5 UNSC P5 members. How long that takes all depends on the schedule and the type of resolution we're presenting. If we craft it right, and I'm an expert on this, everybody, for me, it's going to be 2.5 months is the next time they talk about an issue where we could get a UNSC P5 legally to submit that, okay? 2.5 months from next Monday, okay? So that's rough. I just wish my scroll would be better. I missed a bunch of you I would like to say hi to. Video's working so far, clear. Okay, how can we get out to more people as Facebook is restrictive and many share a lot? Well, Richard, I'm going to upload a pile of videos before I not scrub my phone but download my phone. I'm going to put a pile of these educationals. You can look at my YouTube. You'll see that. That'll be there. Eventually, when we get party registration the next few months, the website will go up the day of registration too. Federal registration's an all-in-one thing. There's no pre-registration. I already have the website built. I can't put it up now because technically it's a fraud. I can't say we're a political party and then turn around and everyone looks at Elections Canada and says, no, you're not registered, because it's a first-class system federally where they expect you to tour all of Canada, be famous enough or have enough people to sign enough forms, and that I have the wealth to fly all over Canada back and forth. Should be able to get that done in a couple days. Hire a company to put up a website. Hire a law firm to enshrine a whole bunch of policy platform and many other things required, bylaws. Supposed to have all that done in a day. Well, I'm a third-class citizen. It takes months. COVID-19, more than that. That's reality. Those who've done it outside of first class mostly have Section 37s, meaning they can't run a 338. They're restricted to limited provinces, and that's not going to be us. So I'll do what I have to do as a third-class citizen just to prove to every Canadian and First People you can build a party as the third class. They say it's impossible. We're going to find out. I'm going to see if I can do it twice in a lifetime. Did it provincially, now let's see if I can do it federally and break a few more records just to show the first class you're not dealing with animals or savages. You're dealing with human beings. Human beings, what one man can do, another can do. What one woman can do, another woman can do. And that's reality. We can beat them at their own game. We can do this together. It takes unification. It means forgetting everything you know about left and right. It means learning these things, sharing it out to the world. Stuff hidden from your parents, your grandparents, hidden from you, currently being hidden from your children in school. Is this how we're all going to go on? Cuckolds of the entire world? Rogue NWO leader of the NWO UN? No, I'm going to shut the NWO down. And to do that, we have to take Canada, everybody. We have to take Canada. We have to do this together. Coming through loud and clear. I don't know if this thing keeps skipping down on me. I'm going to have to let her go, guys. That's the hour. It's 8:58. Thanks, everybody. I hope, if there's better questions, I hope my feed's better tomorrow. I hope it is. And I don't get this scroll issue. I'm sorry, guys. Something just keeps resetting the feed on me. Okay, thanks. Good night. Share. Get it out there. Share it to as many as you can. You know, don't worry what people say. Oh, I can't open it. It takes hours. The powers that be want to go through my video. People want to report it. I've already been reported hundreds of times. They haven't shut me down yet. I'm staying strong, staying true, always telling the truth. Love you all. God bless. Good night.